Chat, here we go with the finals. It's UP Luffy. UP Luffy fell off a little bit with the introduction of OP13, but still a very strong deck, especially with that Roger promo, as we saw in the top 4 round. Being an 8,000 power leader is good. Who knew? Chat, Doflamingo in the finals. This is my favorite leader of OP14. I am so excited for this match. Don Quixote Doflamingo, if you do not know, I don't even need to look up what his leader effect does. On opponent's attack once per turn, if you don -1, you can select either your leader or a Don Quixote Pirates type character. If you do, redirect your opponent's attack to said character. This is going to be a great one. I'm so excited to see how this matchup goes. I have no idea. UP Luffy is going first in this one, which is going to be nice because we know that this UP Luffy is playing not only Zoro Juro, but also It's to Die For. Dofi on his way to the top, beating both Emu and Ace. With these deck lists, whether you're watching the YouTube video after the fact or you're live in chat right now, I will post these 2 deck lists in Discord. I will get both of these deck lists and I'll post them in the Discord server. Listen, if you've seen my videos or you've maybe seen me at an event, I love Nengarden playmats. And especially with Black Friday, now is an insane time to get your very own playmat. Or maybe a gift for somebody else. All of the standard playmats are going to be cut at a discount. And not only that, you've got stickers, pins, apparel, that's also going to be discounted on the website. And these discounts are already so good, and you know I've got a code there for a discount of your own, but it's actually been bumped up to 10% to help you save even more on this Black Friday. Make sure to stack up the savings and get a great gift for either yourself or somebody else this holiday season. The link to Nengarden's website where you can get your next favorite TCG product is in the description below. Thank you so much to Nengarden for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to that video. UP Luffy has a little bit of stuff going on in this hand, has It's to Die For, right? The ability to ramp, and also Gear 2. Also has Sanji, Usohachi, and also Gum Gum Giant. Usohachi, really just a 2K in this matchup because of the redirecting of attacks. Doflamingo has a pretty decent hand, I will say. Has a couple different searches in Sugar and the 1-drop event. The 1-drop searcher event. And here we go. Luffy going first is just going to go ahead and pass. Now the Doflamingo, we'll see what he decides to search with. Is going to go ahead with 1, either playing Sugar or the 1-cost event. I do not forgive those who laugh at my family. Is going to go for that event. Looking at the top 3, does find 2 Virgos and also a Sugar. So going to be interesting to see what he grabs here on this search. Sugar, going to be very nice. Sugar with that on KO effect of playing a 5-cost or less from your hand is going to go for the Virgo instead. Virgo having that protection effect. And so now with the 1, is going to grab a Doflamingo. Oh, maybe I think drew the 1-cost event for a turn when I wasn't looking, trying to look up the name of the 1-cost event. Ends up playing both of them down, grabs Doflamingo, looking off to be a decent start. So now taking this first life of 6,000 power, It's to Die For. If he decides to play it, would only ramp 1, so might as well Gear 2. If he Gear 2s now to ramp a Dawn and go to 4, Doflamingo could go ahead and play a 6,000 power character if he's got one on 4. Most of his 4 cost, though, being 1,000 power. And here's the thing, because you did not grab Sugar at this point. I don't know if he really has a character to play on this turn besides Sugar to continue setting up the hand. You were really looking for some ramp, I think, at this point. So is going to go in with the Sugar. Does find some cards in there. An 8-cost, I think. Also finds a Dellinger. Might be good to play Dellinger on this turn, right? Because you can redirect the leader attack into the Dellinger to go ahead and search a little bit more. Is going to bottom deck 2 8-cost Dofis, I think I just saw. So is going to play that Dellinger out on the field. 1 Dawn as active, passing off the turn. Does not decide to swing at lead. Interesting to leave 1 Dawn as active. Maybe thinking about an event like the Searcher event at this point. Maybe a situation where Luffy does not even swing at all on this turn, But no, he's going to go 6,000 power at Sugar. The redirect now from Doflamingo going at Dellinger. Dellinger going to re-ramp that Dawn that we Dawn minus. And now go in with a search. Does find a Monet, right? Could be nice to be able to have. We saw Monet do so well in the top, top 8? Top 8 round. And now this allows the Sugar to survive on the turn. Right, especially on the even curve. Now you can play a 5 cost from your hand and get the Sugar out. Bon Clay now ramping a Dawn is going to put Luffy at 7, but the It's to Die For now going to 8. Even though with the It's to Die For you did not get the double ramp effect, now you put yourself in a position to where you're going to 8 next turn and going to be able to use your leader effect. And so Dofi now at 6. Is going to go ahead and rest the Sugar to be able to go ahead with another search. And more than likely, probably going to play Virgo on this turn. Virgo could be a nice card to grab, but maybe looking for something like a 4-cost Sugar again to be able to put onto the field. And maybe is eyeing up this baby 5 to play on the turn. Is going to go with Treble, a nice 2K that we see this Doflamingo deck run. And with the 5 is going in with the Virgo. The Virgo is going to be a nice body to be able to put onto the field, right? But now this Bon Clay is going to be able to swing 7,000 power. And so off of this search is going to find a ton of cards. 9-cost Sanji, 2K Sanji to be able to put into the hand, and a Roger. Going to more than likely be going in with Roger on this play, being played off of the 9-cost Sanji to get the loop of 8,000 power going. And so is going to think about grabbing the Nami. The 5-cost Nami blocker is going to put the rest on top, draw 1 card, and that 1 card being the 2K Sanji. A lot of times you'll see UP Luffy's conceal the amount of counter that they have in hand, right? You saw him grab the 1K to publicly show that it was a Straw Hat character based on the leader effect, and then draw into a 2K, right? Kind of messes with your opponent on how much counter you actually have in hand, can play a little bit of mind games. And so now with the 9 is going to go ahead with the Sanji and flipping over what I assume is the Roger, getting onto the field because the Luffy is at 10. Donnie is going to be plus 2,000 power. Now an 8,000 power swing coming in. Is going to go ahead, take this life. A potential trigger. What could it be if it's a slow beam sword, which it is going to be able to ramp 1 Dawn. Now he's going to be able to be at 9. And with the 9 is going to be able to potentially swing at lead with Virgo, but also play the 8-cost Doflamingo on the field. But now, if you tap 8 for the Doflamingo and Dawn -1, you're still going to be able to get the Rosinante effect off. So now at 8 Dawn in total, accidentally dropping your cards. Don't drop your cards, chat. Gets another Virgo out onto the field. Virgo being 7,000 power is going to be much easily be able to swing at lead. And I think Doflamingo is going to have to climb an uphill battle to be able to get in this game. Ends up passing off the turn, leaving 1 Dawn open for a potential counter event. Now we see off of this leader effect, there is not going to be another Sanji Roger play to the relief probably of the Doflamingo, but still some good cards in there, right? We love Thunder Bagua. Going to be a nice event. Has a little bit of counter in this Zorojuro and Bon Clay, a Gum Gum Giant. This is going to be an interesting turn, not having another Roger. But you're still in a pretty good spot as UP Luffy because you've now established Sanji, Roger, pretty good board at this point. Right, a 9 and 10,000 power swing. The Doflamingo is going to be able to Dawn -1 of your swings potentially. So you're going to have to think about what you swing and where you swing it. Is going to go with the Gum Gum Giant. I think bottom decking the rest of the cards. Is going to draw into a 2K Sanji. Not a bad card to get off of the top of the deck. I wonder if you ever just played 9-drop Luffy and just go aggro. Is going to swing now 9,000 power at lead because the Bond Clay copying the Doflamingo on the field. Still has 3 different swings, potentially 4 with a Rush Luffy. And is going to use Doflamingo's effect, right, to tap 1 Dawn and ramp 1 Dawn as active. Way to bring yourself back, especially if you plan on using your leader effect in this turn. And is going to take the first swing. He's going to put it in hand. We see Divine Departure in this list. Another 9,000 power swing at lead. Take it and go down to 1. Another potential trigger. Maybe another slow beam sword. But ends up putting it in the hand. Now the 10,000 power swing. Potentially a redirect. He's been very aggressive at taking life at this point. Plenty of cards in hand. We know that UP Luffy could play something like Pudding. And is going to go ahead with that redirect, swing at the Doflamingo. And give the 2K treble instead. Right, as Roger swinging 10,000 power, Doflamingo being a 9,000 power character, you needed a 2K to go to 11. Remember also that especially if you redirect into an active character, chat, if you did not know, that active character is still engaged in battle and can be knocked out. Your opponent just can't choose that active character unless it says so otherwise. Hence why the redirect of the attack on the Doflamingo forces counter out of the hand. One card that the Luffy is going to have to think about in the coming turns is the slow beam. Could be very interesting. That's one of the reasons why I think maybe the 9 cost is a good play right here, because you just set up another body on the field. You imagine that Bond Clay is going down on this turn. So the 6K swing, getting the baby 5. No blockers on the field, so you got to get out of these swings. Resting the 9 for that Rush Luffy. Is going to, after the Dawn -1, draw 1 card. It's a Pudding. Might be able to use that in the next turn. And swing at lead is going to go ahead, take that life, go down to 0. There's a 10-drop Doflamingo, but 10-drop Doflamingo maybe not as good in this matchup. The 10-drop Doflamingo on the Dawn -3 on play only interacts with 7 costs or less in terms of the freezing of the attacks. So a dead card in your hand if you don't play it. Can KO an 8 cost, so could get rid of this Roger if he wanted to. Could get rid of the Roger. Maybe swing at this Bond Clay to get rid of it on the field. Maybe utilize these Virgos to swing in at lead. Try to get some cards out of hand. And is going to go ahead with the baby 5, swing at Bond Clay, try to get one of these cards out of the hand. Should UP Luffy ever play slow beam sword, chat? Question. Just a thought. Is going to get the KO on that, does not want to give up any attacks, or does not want to give up any cards to save that Bond Clay. The Doflamingo thinking about attaching 1 Dawn. No 10-drop coming in on this turn as he attaches 1 to Virgo. Is going to think about at least an 8,000 power swing. Now with the Divine Departure, going to minus 8,000 power on the Roger. The 10,000 power character is maybe thinking about swinging a couple times at this 2,000 power Roger. May go ahead and swing 5 at the Roger. Is going to go 5,000 at the 2,000 Roger. Claim that knockout. We've seen Divine Departure in the last set come in a lot of these purple lists, especially because that minus 8,000 power can almost remove anything on the field. And so with the Virgo now on the when attacking, is going to try to go for board clear at this point. The Dawn -1, minus 2,000 power is going to be a 7,000 power swing at the Sanji. Now this swing is thinking about Dawn minusing again. Is going to go ahead and Dawn minus once again, make this Sanji a 5,000 power character with this Virgo, a 7,000 power swing, and you still have a Dofi. Definitely has counter to be able to get out of the swing, but no, says no. Says I'd rather you go at face right now with this Doflamingo. And so 9,000 power going at lead. Could just be a Gum Gum Giant to get out of the swing, stay at 3 life. 4 Dawn left open. is going to go ahead, take this first life, put it in the hand. Especially with the redirect effect of your leader effect. Could be able to restand and is going to go with the baby 5. The baby 5 on play is going to re-ramp 1 Dawn as active. So is thinking about what we saw in the top 8 match against the Emu, utilizing baby 5 to redirect the attack and hit the baby 5 for a potential heal. The Luffy right now finding an 8-cost Roger as well as a 9-cost Sanji. The thing about this, though, is if you go in with a 9-cost Sanji to play Roger, sure, you get 8, but you only have 1 Dawn left for your counter events and the sword. And the rest of this top does not help you. So I was thinking about drawing Thunder Bagua from turn. Still in a relatively decent spot, I think, as the Luffy. But the board clear really doing some damage against you, minimizing the amount of swings that you can have. So drawing the Thunder Bagua from turn, going back to 10, is going to go ahead with the 9, get that Roger back out onto the field. And with only 1 Dawn up as active, can't use slow beam, is going to, on this 8,000 power swing, probably utilize Doflamingo's on opponent's attack effect to re-ramp 1 Dawn. Using the Doflamingo, getting that back to 10. Now using the redirect on the baby 5 with the on KO effect is going to go ahead Dawn minus to heal 1 life. Baby 5 putting in a ton of work in this game. Now a 10,000 power swing at lead. Does need to either get out of this or take the life, and is going to take the life. Put what looks like a Dellinger in the hand. And so now Doflamingo going back to 10, still has 2 Virgos and the Dofi in the hand. I think drew another 10 cost. No, drew a Divine Departure. The Divine Departure could be able to get rid of this Luffy, and you can leave a couple Dawn up for the slow beam to minimize the amount of swings coming at you because you have the redirect. And so Sugar now going in with the search is going to find a 2K in treble. Chad, this matchup is so fascinating. And so now attaching 1 Dawn to the Virgo is going to go ahead, swing. Dawn -1 is going to minus 2,000 power. Probably the Luffy to make it an 8,000 power character. Countering out with 1 because you're an 8,000 power leader. We could go ahead and see another Divine Departure play to put the Luffy back down to 0 to get rid of it on the field and focus the rest of these swings maybe at lead. Is going to go ahead, swing another 8,000 power. Is going to minus the Dawn on the previous Virgo to put it at 6,000. I think is still swinging at lead. I think. He could be swinging at the Luffy now because he's plus 2,000 power over it. This is such an interesting spot. Pudding does do a lot of damage, Nachi knees. This pudding in hand is huge. And so was swinging at the Luffy is going to get that knockout. So now you have all this Dawn to work with. You can keep your Divine Departure in hand. If you don't have another baby 5, your redirect attack is going into the Sugar more than likely. Is going to go 9,000 power now at lead. Just a simple 2K to get out of this. Don't let Pudding just win this game. Oh, that would be so sad. That would be so sad if Pudding won this game. But you have to think about that. Is going to go ahead and tap 1 Dawn, maybe going with Gum Giant. Is going to get rid of that Bagua, minus 2 Dawn and draw a couple cards. Does find Sanji and a Giant. We know those 2 cards were there. Maybe is trying to feint for an all-in kind of play. Does have another baby 5 in there. Will ramp 1. Does have the ability to heal 1. If the Luffy does play Pudding here, to reset the hand, a slow beam sword can go a long way to be able to keep him in this game. We see the 9-cost Mihawk coming in. The 9-cost Mihawk could bottom deck the baby 5. I feel like you still got time as Luffy in this game. You would be able to bottom deck the baby 5, but the Virgo would be able to save the baby 5. Because baby 5 is a Don Quixote Pirates type character, Virgo would be able to save it with a Dawn -1. So we'll see if he tries to do it. I don't think he tries to do it. He might try to do it, but I think he more so just tries to establish a body on the field. And so is going to have the Dracula Mihawk at the top of the deck. Is he going to go for Sanji Mihawk? He looks like he's tapping 9 for the Sanji. Maybe he doesn't, maybe disregards it. Maybe realizes that Virgo can save baby 5. Virgo, if you do not know, protects from removing from the field of play. So protects bottom decking, prevents going back into hand, prevents KOs. Oh, but it has to be by effects though. So it has to be a KO by effect. If you battle and KO it, that you can't protect it as Virgo. So now swings 6,000 power at Sugar. Does not want to allow him to keep getting this 1 card search every single turn. And I think is really just trying to bait out the baby 5. And so is going to tap 1 for the Doflamingo effect to go back up to 10. And is going to let this baby 5 get KO'd. You can use Slow Beam Sword on the next swing. And so now swings the 9 with Sanji. I would use Slow Beam Sword here, I think, to rest the Roger. But maybe is just going in for the KO first on the baby 5. But is going to go with the Slow Beam Sword, actually. Do a Wombo combo to do both of them. To not only redirect the attack, but swing at baby 5, take the KO, and now utilize baby 5's KO effect to put the top card into the life. Now going to set at 1 life into the end of this turn. The 9 for Sanji is going to get Dracula Mihawk out onto the field. And so attempting to bottom deck the Virgo is going to go another Dawn minus. Is going to put Dofi now at 8 Dawn on this turn. I think Luffy, though, still at a very good position. Right? Still has 2 life. Still has 1 Dawn in hand. Or 1 Dawn active. Man, a pudding would be devastating in this next turn. You have to, like, draw a Slow Beam Sword. No, Jaboy. So, Slow Beam Sword, if you do not know, rest one of your opponent's characters. Then, because you still have to finish the attack, attacked baby 5 and used baby 5's on KO effect to heal a life. So that's how that sequence went. I apologize if I didn't explain it very well. These are my first games casting Dofi. And so attaches 1 Dawn, swings 6,000 power at lead, testing the waters on what he's got in hand right now. Is going to go 1k counter on the Nami. If he tries to go for game, he needs all 3 of these swings to connect, which is a lot harder than it sounds when your opponent is UP Luffy. Hard to tell how much counter they have in their hand. Being able to manipulate the top 5 and also grab a card off leader effect every single turn. It's basically drawing 2 at the start of every turn. Is going to go down with 7,000 power lead. I think maybe going in with a safe route. Is going to minus the Sanji and now swing 7,000 power, putting the Sanji to 7. Might try to clear board yet again. Is going to 2k out of that swing to keep the Sanji alive as that 7,000 power swing was going at the 7,000 power Sanji. Sanji still 7,000 power for the rest of the turn. You've got a lot of cards in hand, but I don't know if you've got enough cards to be able to get out of all of these boss monsters. Yeah, it is kind of funny to see people that like alternate art everything in their deck in max rarity, and then they just have a regular leader. If he goes ahead and plays a Dellinger that would be able to redirect one of these attacks, and is going to play 5 for Rosinante. Rosinante being able to pitch the Divine Departure is going to draw 2 cards. Does find a brick in Virgo and a treble, which is a 2k, but I don't know if it found exactly what you're looking for. I think you got to play Dellinger on this turn. I think to have a chance, you need to play Dellinger to redirect an attack and do a search. is going to go 9,000 power Doflamingo. Now at the 7,000 power Sanji is going to go Gum Gum Giant to get out of that swing. Remember, Gum Gum Giant going to your Straw Hat characters and leaders is going to be plus 4,000 after drawing some cards. May go in with a Virgo, another Dawn -1 potentially. So the 7,000 power swing now at the Sanji. Not doing the Dawn -1, so it's going to be a 7,000 power swing on a 7,000 power swing. Just going to be a 1K Bond Clay to get out of it. Is going to restand 2 Dawn through the Rosinante effect, and we pass off the turn to Luffy. Now is the time. Not playing the Dellinger was interesting, in my opinion. Would have loved maybe the Dellinger to come down on the field for a possible redirect and search. And it would be a minimal loss to you, I think. No, there was no Crocodile in this top 16. Yeah, I think Pudding does a lot of damage here. Ends up finding Gear 2 on the leader effect. Drawing for a turn, finding the 5-cost Nami. We could see the 4 come in for Pudding. We saw it drawn many turns ago. Gonna reset the big hand of double-digit cards for this Doflamingo. And it's all gonna depend on these 5 cards. I don't know if there's many combinations of cards that can get you out of this as Doflamingo. You just gotta hope that your Luffy player didn't play Pudding. Is gonna draw 5 cards here. Does not find any slow beams. I was gonna say double slow beam would be disgusting, but I don't think would get you out of this game. Does find plenty of counter, though. Ends up getting a Divine Departure, and now utilizing Doflamingo's leader effect on the 9-cost Sanji, 9,000 power going in at lead. 6 Dawn left active. Is going to go 2K, 2K, 1K to get out of that swing. The 9,000 power with Mihawk is going to redirect an attack off of leader effect into Rosinante for the KO. Is going to attach 3 onto lead and swing 9,000 power. That's going to be the game. UP Luffy winning the first OP14 championship. Not the leader that I think a lot of us expected in this format to be the first winner, the first Japan champion. But I think a lot of us maybe not expecting a purple final of UP Luffy and Doflamingo. Definitely a good game in that one. Definitely enjoyed that game. Doflamingo gets really interesting in the end game, I will say.